This job brings people together.
City TV has all new episodes of Chicago Med, Fire, and PD.
Listen up, mass casualties en route.
No pulse, 1 epi milligram?
My team of 51 saves lives.
Go! Need to get that truck out of there now.
We'll take him.
Police, run!
Every inch of this place is surrounded by police.
All new Chicago Wednesday on City TV or stream it on City TV Plus.
With clubs, leagues, and courts in every province and territory across Canada, squash is the sport for wall-to-wall fun, fitness, and friendship. From coast to coast to coast. Learn to play, and you'll want to do it every day. Squash. Play inside the box.
You're watching Rogers TV.
Good evening, everybody. How are you getting on tonight? It's your boy DC, and this is Out of the Fog. We're a local matters bop that goes across the province, hanging out with all the cool kids, making all the cool things happen. Well, tonight it's boys' night, to quote one of my guests. First up, we have Majd Mujahed. He is a national kickboxing champ. He's coming through to talk about what it takes to win the gold, baby. And then the one and only Jason Normore. He is a star in this city, coming for the crumbs. Check him out, artist, musician, and we'll be back to hang out with him right after the break. Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and I'm hanging with another king here tonight. It's boys' night and Out of the Fog, if I didn't tell you off the top. Jason, what is going on?
I'm just excited to be hanging out with you today.
Oh
man.
my God.
Yeah.
I mean, how lucky am I, though, right?
It's mutual. It's mutual.
I mean, I got to be honest with the folks out there. I see you pretty much every day. Mm-hmm. We're all living that A1C for life downtown time and bopping in and out of all the places to be where all the business and all the arts and all the moving fun things are going down. I'm going to ask you some questions.
Please.
Thank you. What drew you into artist life?
Artist life, yeah, I mean, to condense a very long story short, I started playing music when I was a kid, but I think, you know, in my 20s, I was definitely in a different field of work. I was pretty heavily steeped in religious work, had a large cracking during the pandemic. You know, I just started to see the world in a whole different way, like a lot of people. And I think in hindsight now, Dee, I can see like many of us, I was just trying to grapple with pieces of just understanding reality. And there were things shifting inside of myself that I didn't yet know what to do with. And luckily, coming out of like a spiritual background, things like art, music, poetry heavily, photography now, videography, kind of became the way for me to start like asking questions, process, you know, therapeutic in a certain sense, for sure.
Yeah, of course. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it's so interesting to hear that, you know, spirituality and faith work is so related to artistry.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Right.
Well, I think even in spirituality, like, to even entertain those conversations, it's all metaphor, right? So I found, well, I was already steeped in it anyways.
Yeah.
So now I'm just channeling it in a different avenue.
Yeah, that's so interesting to hear. Because, yeah, I mean, poetry and writing and psalms and verses and passages, I mean, it's all just a historic, ever-present way of documenting feelings and thoughts.
Definitely.
Right?
And all these like kind of prophetic characters and religions are all really just poets at the end of the day, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
And they're all playing their roles to teach us lessons as well.
Yeah, kind of realigning perspective a bit.
When it comes to writing styles, you know, introspective, reflective, pondering, they're the usual suspects, right, of a solo balladeer like yourself, and myself too, I suppose. And so, where does inspiration come from, and how does that affect your writing?
Inspiration, like artist-wise, people. Well, I gotta say, especially coming out of that spiritual world, it was definitely people like Leonard Cohen. You know, of course, the man gave me some. Gave me some footing for sure.
Cool.
Like Nick Drake really started me that album Pink Moon.
Whoa.
Even the whole story around that project kind of broke me. Bon Iver, I have a soft spot for him. And so yeah, I find I'm pulling on a lot of people. Honestly, right now, as much as I'm playing like folk music, the hip hop world has given me some rhythm, which I need in the dead of winter, I would say.
I mean, listen, talk to me about the local scene from your lens, and what are some artists of note that you have checked out or think are really helping to evolve what's happening locally, like you are at this time with your music, you know?
Yeah, I think locally, like instantly who comes to mind? Well, there's a few. There's this woman, Liz Fagan. I've seen her perform a few times, and it's really beautiful. But I think the person locally right now who I'm most just like in awe of is Nico Paulo.
Oh yeah.
You know, from her, I think what I appreciate about her as an artist is like, she doesn't seem like she's in one stream, right? She's not just doing music or just doing one thing. She's really multifaceted, multidisciplinary. And I think to exist as an artist right now, you've really got to, you know, be everywhere.
Oh yeah,
all
it's true.
The things. Yeah.
And how lucky are you to be able to do all the things? Because I feel like, you know, music and writing are so foundational to your passions and what you're doing, but also as a storyteller and a content creator, those are other aspects of your life that are getting a lot of attention, and it all just comes together in this beautiful creative world.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, look into the crystal ball here with me. What is the year ahead like? What do you see yourself doing on the creative front in terms of producing and all the things that you love to do?
Yeah, like, you know, I started getting into content creation and digital work like that solely based on I wanted to start putting out solo music. And once I started doing that, restaurants, bars kind of saw what I was doing, asked if I'd step in. Now I'm like full-time employed doing contracts and that kind of thing. So that's moving, but I think now that I have my footing, and especially financially as an artist, you've kind of got to figure it out. Now that I feel like I've got some stuff leveled, I think I'm gonna get ready to take some risk, Like I've been doing like the solo artist thing definitely in St. John's, but I have a lot of connections in Halifax area, Toronto area, and I'm realizing that, you know, Newfoundland's amazing, but I need to figure out how to, you know, take steps elsewhere and kind of expand that way. So I'm hoping to, you know, scurry and then scurry back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
And so let's talk about products, because music is a thing. What can you tell us about what's going on and how we can access your music, the stuff you've done, and what's upcoming? Tell me everything.
Yeah, I've done like a series of solo projects over the past while, some singles and EPs, which are all, you know, Spotify, Apple, wherever you're doing your stuff. The best thing that's happening right now is I'm getting ready to put out an EP called The Space Between Things. So it's really like a poetic, gentle, soft offering for the middle of winter, but me and a group of other artists, Antonio Shano, I might be messing up his name, sorry Tony if I did, Sarah Kierstead, Claire Follett, we got together and we filmed. Claire's amazing. Claire inspires me.
Oh yeah.
Endlessly, she's amazing. So we filmed documentary style the happenings of my EP. It's live off the floor. I had a small audience in the studio with me while I did it. So I really am breaking it up and putting it out on social media starting tomorrow. So it's gonna be, whenever people see this, it's gonna be there and you can find it.
That's so cool.
Thanks, man. I'm trying.
Oh my gosh, just, you know, every time I'm involved in a recording project, it gives me life, and it's literally the soundtrack to my life at that time that I have such a special connection to, and you will have that as well for this.
Yeah.
And so it's so great that folks can know to be searching for you in the interwebs and to find your music and your artistry and all the things that make you the man that you are.
Thank you. Yeah.
2 songs.
2 songs.
Can't wait.
Gonna do The Space Between Things, the title track. This one is really about, I used to work in Paradise, and kind of the opening lines is really me kind of perspective. I'm flying up Pitt's Memorial, getting to Paradise. It's a gentle offering for sure. One of the most, I try to keep that song very even.
Okay.
Numb and Real is like an exploration of seasonal depression, and I think Newfoundlanders everywhere can relate to how tough it can be. So I wrote that middle of winter last year.
Wicked.
Yeah. So that's
Will
what
you come back and hang out with us again and play more music and talk about more of the things that we love to talk about?
If you'll have me, I'll be here, man.
You'll be back.
Thank you.
Guys, Jason, you got to check him out. Check him out on all the webs. You've seen his key during this interview. We'll be right back after this break.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog. I'm your boy DC, and first up tonight, song 1 of 2 from Jason Normore. This song is called The Space in Between. Check it out. Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and let me tell you what, I'm a lover, not a fighter. But thank God I got a bunch of friends who are. The one and only Majd. What are you at?
How are you?
I'm so glad that you're finally here on the show.
Thank you, finally. It's been a long time.
I know, a long time coming, because obviously we're going to be hanging out, and then life happens, but now look at you, and what's that big, gleaming, beaming piece of hardware next to you?
That's a national champion title for 2023.
That's unreal. So I want to let the viewers know that I'm sitting next to a king up in here because the big fight went down in 23 and our boy walked away. Now tell us more about this organization so we can appreciate the national amazingness of it all.
This is from WACO, which is the Kickboxing Association in Canada. It's the biggest kickboxing association here, and it usually holds the biggest competitions in Canada.
Right.
And that was actually, it was the biggest competition, 2023. It set a record of almost 500 plus athletes, and that was the title for it.
So I'm sorry, are you like telling me that basically, you know, you walk into a room and there's like Kill Bill style of 500 odd people and you got to take them all to the ground?
No,
Is that how it goes down?
There's different...
I know, but I do want you to tell me as if I didn't know.
Absolutely. There's a lot of different weight classes, and in the weight classes, there are different divisions. So you usually sign up for, that was like 500 over all divisions, but usually in every division there's like about 6-7 athletes from different, every athlete comes from a different province.
Right.
So they get the best from each province and they put them one division, and then the best gets out.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
Now, how many of these types of national competitions in kickboxing had you been attending up to this point of winning the gold?
Well, I have competed, I had few fights before nationals, but that was my first national competition.
Wild.
Yeah.
And where was it held?
Niagara Falls, Ontario.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, that's right. I remember you went up there.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, to me, you know, as I mentioned at the top of this thing, being outside of the professional fighting world and all of the different divisions and disciplines from martial arts right down the line, I would say that on a world stage, it's always been huge and galvanizing and draws major attention. But I also feel that living in this province, I have seen attention and awareness and exposure and support of this sport go through the roof in the last few years. Am I right about that?
Absolutely. There's a lot of people in Newfoundland that love fighting, they watch fighting, and they just follow everything that's related to fighting, especially with the rise of MMA right now. If you see in the weekends, Saturday, most of the people are just in bars watching fights.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing in the culture right now in Newfoundland.
That's huge. And it wasn't always that way, but to your point, exactly, in all the sports bars and beyond, it is bringing out the people to watch, and MMA is huge.
Absolutely. Especially in the last few years. It's been on the rise.
It's wild.
Yeah.
So what drew you into competition and professional fighting?
Okay, so I started when I was young. I always competed in different sports. I've been always a very competitive person.
Cool.
And when I moved to Newfoundland in 2017, I was lucky enough to be within a group of friends who already do martial arts. So I just tried it, and the competitive element took over. Just wanted to train and see. We had a few national champions in Newfoundland, and I was like, man, like I want to be the next national champion, you know? So yeah, thanks to these guys and thanks to our coaches for making this possible, you know?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to hear the story, and that's why I love doing the show, is having people on, all walks of life, all different industries and disciplines, and what they all have in common is that they had an idea, or they had a desire, or a dream, or a want, and they did what a lot of people don't do, which is they did the damn thing. You know?
Absolutely.
And we all know reasons why folks maybe don't take advantage of opportunities or have the confidence to pursue opportunities, and there's a million reasons, but for every person who gets on this stage who has a story like you do, I think the hope is that folks watching this show at home end up saying, wow, man, he moved here, came here, and now 6 years later he won a national competition? That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, I'm also giving you a compliment, I guess. So Majd, listen, you know, there's a lot of great people in your orbit, in your day-to-day life supporting you, the coaches and all the other participants. Where do you train?
I train at Rock Athletics in Mount Pearl.
Okay.
By Robbie Wiseman. He's my head coach.
Nice. And now that's a relatively newish type of spot under the umbrella of training and fighting. Am I wrong?
No, yeah, you're kind of wrong. It's been a few years there. It's been like Yeah, it's very old. Not super old, but like it's been more than 5, 6, 7 years in the spot.
See,
yeah.
it just speaks to how the sport is on the rise
Absolutely.
and the whole movement. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, what do you see for yourself? You have this national title. Are you going to defend it?
Unfortunately, not this year because I have other things I want to keep out of the way.
Yeah.
But I'm still competing. I'm still getting better day by day. I still train hard every day. And yeah, I'm just waiting for opportunities. We're getting more opportunities in Newfoundland now as we're getting more referees. So I'm going to get every opportunity, and in 2025, I'll be back to take the belt back.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Wowee. So listen, I'm going to say, you know, to me, coming from outside the province to come here to pursue education opportunity, it's amazing. Where are you from?
I'm from Palestine. Okay. I've been born in, and I lived most of my life in Saudi Arabia, but I'm originally from Palestine.
That's amazing. And, you know, given the climate and the conversations and the subject matter that we see out in the media, you find yourself living very far from there in a very different place where a lot of goals and aspirations are possible. How does that make you feel when you look back on where you grew up, what's going on, and where you find yourself today?
Honestly, I would look at myself, I'm very proud of what I've achieved. I think I came here for a goal to have a better life and better education. Getting my education was a big milestone for me.
Sure.
But the more important is winning nationals was something that I always dreamt of. And I feel like this will just give me more drive and energy to just achieve more goals for whatever I desire in the future.
That's so amazing.
Thanks.
You know, I think a lot of folks out there who are watching this interview and seeing that you've won this award and all this, they're like, oh yeah, but do they really get it? Meaning, how much training and focus goes into what you have done to get there? Because, you know, we all see the result, right?
Absolutely.
But a lot of us don't appreciate or aren't exposed to what goes on below the waterline and what it truly takes to get there, so to speak. So what's life like when you're heavy in the trench training for the goal?
Absolutely.
What's life like for you?
Especially in this sport, it's I call it the loneliest sport, because when you train for competition, you gotta follow everything like an army. You can't play around, you can't eat bad, you can't sleep late, you can't not train at least 2 times a day to 3 times.
Whoa.
Because it's a player versus a player. If you're not training that hard or you're not doing everything on point, your opponent is. And this sport is not like any other sport. In any other sport, if you lose a match, you just go home, that's it. But in this sport, you lose a match, you probably go to the hospital. So it has way different consequences than any other sport.
Wow, I'm really walking away from this hang being like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be going there with you on Saturday. Although I think I would, because I think that mentoring and teaching is a huge part of what you're all involved in as well. And that's helping the new folks entering the ring, so to speak, or the arena, to also get the hang of it. And how important is mentoring and coaching and support in what you guys do?
It's very important. If you don't have a good coach, you're in a big trouble. That's number one. So having a coach that has gone through the steps you're trying to go through is very essential, because they provide you with all the guidance and they'll provide you with all the insights you need, especially like technical, from what to do, what to eat. You always need someone who has done it before and has achieved it to be able to you gotta talk the talk if you want to walk the walk.
You said it, man, and that's so true, because so many folks end up, you know, thinking that it's all a slice of cake and this and that, but really mentorship and being shown the way is going to get you there faster than anything ever will, and that's a life thing.
Absolutely.
Maj, listen, I'm so glad you came to the show to hang out, and I'm so proud of you and your success so far. Thanks and so all much. Of our friends are, and so we look forward to what you're going to do next. Will you come back and talk to us again about your updates?
Absolutely. I'd love to come here. Next time we'll come with more builds, hopefully.
Oh yeah, baby, that sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, this is Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight here on Out of the Fog on Rogers TV. Thank you so much, Maj, for coming through and showing us the gold. And now, to play us out, the one and only Jason Normore, and his last of 2 songs tonight. It's Numb and Real. Guys, we'll see you next time.
Too long, it's gonna weigh a lot more than it could have. When you feel like that, like your tongue at last has come to fail you, there's not one thing you can say. There's not one thing you can feel. You're numb and real. When you walk the line between death and life, and one is winning. Well, now's the time. Use your subconscious voice and just be honest. There's not one thing you can say. There's not one thing you can feel. You're numb and real. There's not one thing you can say. There's not one thing you can feel. You're numb and real. When grief ties stones around your neck and you're gnashing your own teeth there, another mind left to press my lips. Well, you know now. Some days you can't trust. Well, you know now some days you can't trust yourself. When you're spinning out, you get lost. No sound, no one gets near you. Well, your whole life comes in waves, internal strife, and you can't change that. There's not one thing you can say. There's not one thing you can feel. You're numb and real.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We want to hear from you. Provide feedback on this show or find out how you can get involved. Call, email us, or scan the QR code to take our quick survey.
I'm Detective Graff. This is Detective Bateman.
She